What's happening, fuckers? You've caught me in the middle of one of my favorite pastimes, grave robbing. Now, word on the street is that this plot may be the site of Michael Jackson's remains. The king of pop, or king of pedophiles, depends on who you ask. So I was hoping that I might find something valuable here, like his kidneys. I did find one thing though, a copy of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the Sega Master System, so we may as well give it a look while I get to work. So, let's get into it. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is a side-scrolling beat-em-up and child abduction simulator, in which you play the titular baby dangler himself, and are tasked with collecting hidden children, because life is a better joke writer than I could ever dream to be. Each stage contains a series of hiding spots spread across multiple levels, with children being hidden in some of these areas. Complicating this task is the presence of constantly spawning enemies, and a chance that something other than a child lurks behind the scary door, like an enemy, or a fucking bomb, or whatever this is.
Now that was a very good, that was a good system. That was a very good system. The games did not freeze, and the games did not stop.
After collecting all the children like some kind of Pied Piper, your depressed monkey slave Bubbles comes zooming in, and will point you to the boss fight, mostly consisting of waves of regular enemies. Overall, I'd say the gameplay is competent, if flawed. It offers a reasonable difficulty as the game goes on when dealing with enemies, and I never felt that it got too hard too quickly, unlike the man himself when left alone with Corey Feldman. Also, the game does offer a nice variety of attacks when dealing with enemies, such as steal, hat throwing, and just kicking the shit out of them. As I mentioned, the game does have its flaws, a lot of which stem from its level design. As with many games from this era, the level design can become quite obtuse, especially later in the game, introducing labyrinthian stages spread across wide areas and many levels, while also adding teleporters to only confuse matters further. Combine this with a complete lack of indicators as to where these children could be, and it leads to a situation where you end up stalking some stages looking for a needle in a fucking haystack, seeking out a lone child hiding behind one of many identical doors. Sounds like the premise for a horror movie. The area where Moonwalker really excels, however, is in its presentation. For a tie-in with the movie of the same name, it does a good job of capturing the Jackson aesthetic, despite the limitations of the Master System, or Genesis if you want to get all American about it. Each stage is based on his more famous songs, with MIDI versions present as the stage's soundtrack. These include Bad, Thriller, and that song by Alien and Farm. These are solid recreations, and show more effort was put into the game than with most tie-ins. Though I suppose the industry had learned how badly that can go. Overall, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is an interesting if flawed title. Even putting aside the novelty value, it is a reasonable beat-em-up that offers something of value despite its faults. And considering how utterly lazy some tie-in title can be, that's commendable. Anyway, I'll be off now. Turns out this was the wrong grave all along. I can't believe something written on the internet could ever be wrong. I did get some kidneys though.